Imagine a Roman city where time stood still, not with the fury of ash, but with a wave of boiling mud that sealed every secret. Here the wood has not rotted, the papyrus has not burned, and the aristocratic life is still palpable. Today I am not taking you to visit a simple ruin, but to enter a frozen world, a hidden pearl of the Gulf of Naples that offers us an intimate and almost disturbing glimpse into how the Roman elite lived 2,000 years ago. Many know Pompeii, its tragedy and its sudden end, but Herculaneum is another story, a story of silence, refinement, and a preservation so extraordinary that it makes one shudder. Unlike its famous sister, here it was not ash that buried everything, but a much more singular phenomenon which transformed the destruction into a miracle of preservation. Get ready, because we are about to cross the threshold of a suspended time where every detail tells us of art, pleasure, and timeless elegance. Herculaneum, nestled on the tranquil shores of the Gulf of Naples, was no ordinary city. It was the favorite retreat of the Roman aristocracy, a place where life flowed to the calm rhythm of the waves, far from the din and politics of Rome. While Pompeii was a bustling commercial and port center, Herculaneum was a residential jewel, a place of sumptuous villas and flower gardens where art and pleasure were the true masters. Imagine wealthy patricians retreating here to escape the chaos of the capital, finding refuge in Damaras decorated with vibrant frescoes and intricate mosaics, where refined banquets and philosophical discussions were held under the warm Mediterranean sun. It was not a large or noisy city, but rather an exclusive community devoted to odium, cultured leisure time devoted to study, art, and personal well being. Its streets, though not paved like Pompeii's to accommodate heavy carts, were clean and orderly, reflecting the care and refinement of its inhabitants. Everything in Herculaneum spoke of a life of ease, impeccable taste, and a deep appreciation for beauty and culture. Here, every corner hid a work of art, every villa was a private gallery, and even the shops reflected a high standard of quality serving a demanding clientele. But then on October 24th, 79 AD, Vesuvius erupted, and it was here that the history of Herculaneum took a dramatically different turn from that of Pompeii. While Pompeii was covered by an incessant rain of lapilli and ash, trapping its victims under layers of incandescent debris, Herculaneum was initially spared, perhaps protected by its leeward position. Its inhabitants had a few hours, perhaps even a whole night, to make crucial decisions to try to escape. Many did so, but a significant number remained, hoping that the danger would pass or waiting for rescue. It was not the ash that sealed its end, but a far more insidious and destructive enemy, a wave of incandescent mud, a pyroclastic flow that descended from the slopes of the volcano at an impressive speed, around 100 km/h, with temperatures that exceeded 400-500 degrees Celsius. This wave did not bury but sealed. Imagine this, a dense, burning mixture of ash, pumice, and water vapor advancing inexorably, filling every space, every cavity, every room. It's not like being buried under a blanket of snow, but like being immersed in a kind of boiling liquid concrete that once cooled solidifies into a compact, impenetrable mass. This was the singular fate of Herculaneum. The boiling mud, transforming into compact tuff, completely enveloped the city, penetrating every corner, and it is precisely in this horrific mechanism of destruction that lies the miracle of its preservation. Unlike ash, which burns and destroys, the mud acted like a gigantic and incredible vacuum seal. There was no oxygen to decompose, no bacteria to consume. What makes Herculaneum unique is the extraordinary preservation of organic materials. Think about it. Wood, which was almost completely lost in Pompeii, has been preserved here. We have furniture, doors, beams, even the upper floors of houses that no longer exist in Pompeii. Walking through Herculaneum is like entering a house whose inhabitants have just left. You can see wooden beams still intact in the ceilings, charred but recognizable furniture, and even shop shelves with the remains of the food that was placed on them, charred bread, dried fruit, legumes. It's as if someone turned off the lights and walked away, leaving everything as it was. The libraries, particularly the one at the Villa of the Papyri, house thousands of charred papyrus scrolls. They are not burned to ash, but transformed into carbon cigars, still containing the words of ancient Greek philosophers such as Philodemus of Gadara. Today, using innovative and delicate techniques, efforts are being made to unravel these ancient texts, opening unprecedented windows onto the thought and literature of the Roman era. It is a priceless treasure, a database of knowledge waiting for us, sealed by Vesuvius. So we're not talking about a simple collection of ruins. Herculaneum is a time capsule, a three-dimensional snapshot of a civilization. It is an open-air museum where the details of everyday life, the nuances of a refined aesthetic, and the care for well-being remain suspended, almost waiting to be discovered and understood. Every fresco, every mosaic, every object found tells us of a people who loved beauty, who cultivated the mind and who enjoyed the pleasures of life with an elegance that still fascinates us today. It is an unprecedented historical and cultural wealth which allows us to experience firsthand a past that would otherwise have remained only in the pages of books. Yet, amid so much wonder and preservation, the history of Herculaneum culminates in a tragedy that wrenches our hearts. As the burning mud flowed down the valley, a large group of citizens, hundreds of men, women, and children, sought refuge in a place they believed to be safe: the ancient arches, the boathouses, which opened directly onto the beach. Here, camped in these damp, dark vaults, they waited. They waited for a ship. They waited for the salvation that must come from the sea, the only escape that seemed possible in that moment of chaos and destruction. They had with them their few possessions: jewels, rings, whatever they could carry in their hasty escape, evidence of their last desperate attempt to save themselves. But that ship never arrived. The wave of burning mud reached them there, on the beach, sealing them forever in a deadly embrace. When archaeologists discovered these arches many centuries later, they found themselves faced with a chilling and moving scene. Hundreds of skeletons, fossilized in their last positions, curled up, embracing each other, with their hands covering their faces. They weren't victims of ash suffocation, but of instantaneous and brutal thermal shock. Their bodies were instantly vaporized by the extreme temperatures, leaving only their bones. Their DNA is still being studied today, revealing details about their origins, their diets, and the diseases that afflicted the Romans. This discovery, which occurred in the 1980s, added a profoundly human dimension to the tragedy of Herculaneum. They are not just ruins, but the memory of broken lives, of shattered hopes, of a desperate escape that ended in the cruelest way. Each skeleton tells a story, a silent farewell to a world that would never return. Today, walking through the streets of Herculaneum, one has the unique and almost surreal sensation of violating an intimacy from 2,000 years ago. It is as if the inhabitants had just left their homes for a walk, for a bath in the spa, for a meeting with friends. The attention to detail is astonishing. You can still see the traces of door hinges, the imprints of tools left on the walls, the shining mosaic floors, the lead water pipes, the fishing nets hanging in a shop, or the hearth of a kitchen with the remains of the last meal. Every villa, every shop, every thermal bath is a window onto a Roman daily life that elsewhere is only a matter of imagination. Herculaneum offers us not only a history lesson but a profound emotional experience. It teaches us nature's incredible ability to simultaneously destroy and preserve. It reminds us that even in the midst of catastrophe, humanity seeks salvation, fighting until its last breath. But above all, Herculaneum whispers to us a story of beauty, art, and a refined existence that was abruptly interrupted, but which time has not managed to completely erase. It is an eternal and silent farewell which invites us to reflect on the fragility of life and the power of the past. If this story has captured you, don't miss the next journey through time. Click on the video that now appears on the screen to discover another mystery of the ancient world.